The Thanksgiving episode of The Bold and the Beautiful set for November 26, 2025, promises to be a tapestry of contrasts, family warmth and hidden resentment, celebration and regret, joy and the ever-present tension that defines the lives of the Forrestos, Logans, and Spencers. Under the soft glow of autumn light, Los Angeles prepares for a day meant for gratitude, yet beneath the surface of golden table settings and polite smiles, the old rivalries and unresolved feelings begin to stir. It's Thanksgiving in the world of fashion, love, and betrayal, and nothing ever stays peaceful for long. At Il Giardino, Deacon Sharp is trying, perhaps more than anyone else, to create something resembling normalcy. His life with Sheila Carter has been many things: volatile, passionate, unpredictable, but normal has never been one of them. Still, as he adjusts the table settings and instructs the staff to dim the lights just so, he clings to the illusion that tonight could be different. He wants to believe that even the most broken souls deserve one night where they can sit down, share a meal, and pretend they belong to the same world as everyone else. Sheila, radiant in a crimson dress that contrasts with her history of chaos, watches him with a mix of admiration and suspicion. She can see the effort he's making, and though she'll never admit it, she feels the smallest flicker of guilt. Deacon insists they invite guests, not just for appearance's sake, but to make the evening feel genuine. It's Thanksgiving, he told her earlier, and no one should eat alone. That line echoes through his mind as he looks over the names written neatly on a card: Carter Walton and Daphne Rose. Of all the people he could have invited, these two are the most surprising. Carter, the ever-composed attorney, represents everything Deacon has never been: stable, rational, morally grounded. Daphne, on the other hand, is the embodiment of artistic freedom. Her performances at Il Giardino's open mic nights have captivated both Deacon and Sheila. There's something haunting in her voice, something that seems to understand longing, regret, and redemption. When the guests arrive, the atmosphere shifts. Carter's handshake is firm but cautious, his eyes flicking toward Sheila with the kind of guardedness that only comes from knowing her reputation too well. Daphne is warmer, her presence softening the edges of the room. "Thank you for inviting me," she says, and for a brief moment, Deacon believes the night might actually succeed. Sheila, of course, can't resist adding her own dramatic flair, welcoming them with a mischievous smile that makes Carter visibly uneasy. The dinner begins awkwardly. Conversation flows unevenly at first: safe topics, polite questions, the usual performance of civility. Carter compliments the wine, Daphne compliments the decor, and Deacon laughs a little too loudly at jokes that aren't funny. But then, as the meal progresses, something unexpected happens. The tension gives way to sincerity. Daphne begins to talk about gratitude, not the shallow kind people post on social media, but the raw kind that comes from surviving heartbreak and still choosing to hope. She speaks about losing someone she loved and finding solace in her music. Her words hang in the air like a melody, and for a moment, even Sheila looks genuinely moved. Deacon glances at Sheila, seeing something vulnerable in her expression. Gratitude has always been a complicated emotion for her. She's been feared, hated, pitted, but rarely forgiven. Tonight, however, she feels something stirring in her chest. Maybe it's because she's sitting at a table where no one is screaming at her or throwing accusations. Maybe it's because she senses that Deacon truly wants to believe she can change. Or maybe it's because, for once, she's hearing a story that isn't about revenge or survival but about grace. Carter, still wary, begins to relax as well. He's spent years navigating the moral chaos of the Forrestos, and tonight feels oddly grounding. He even catches himself smiling when Deacon recounts one of his old bar owner misadventures. But just when the room starts to feel light, a shadow crosses Deacon's face. He mentions Hope Logan, unintentionally, almost like a reflex, and the warmth instantly cools. The name lingers between them, unspoken tension rising like a tide. Sheila's eyes narrow ever so slightly. Hope represents the part of Deacon's life she can never touch, the world that will never truly accept her. Daphne, sensing the shift, tries to redirect the mood. She suggests that they all take turns saying what they're thankful for. Deacon hesitates, but agrees. Carter goes first, expressing gratitude for stability and growth, an answer so quintessentially Carter that it almost draws a chuckle. Daphne follows, speaking softly about the power of forgiveness. When it's Sheila's turn, she surprises everyone. "I'm thankful for second chances," she says, her voice steady, "and for the people brave enough to give them." Her eyes flick toward Deacon. For a fleeting moment, sincerity breaks through her usual armor. But when it's Deacon's turn, he can't quite find the right words. Gratitude feels complicated for him. He's thankful for Sheila, yes, but part of him still longs for the family he once had, the daughter who barely speaks to him, the respect he's never earned. He looks at Carter, at Daphne, and then at Sheila, realizing that the table before him represents every choice he's ever made, good and bad. "I'm thankful for the chance to try again," he finally says. It's not eloquent, but it's honest. As laughter slowly returns to the table, a sense of fragile peace settles over Il Giardino. Yet beneath it lies a quiet unease. Carter still doesn't trust Sheila. Daphne senses danger in the way she looks at Deacon. And Deacon himself can't shake the feeling that calm never lasts long in his world. Across town, the Forrester family is celebrating their own version of Thanksgiving. At the Cliff House overlooking the ocean, Steffi Forrester Finnegan moves through her kitchen with the precision of someone determined to make the day perfect. For her, perfection is protection. If she keeps everything under control, maybe the chaos of the past months will stay buried. Finn is by her side, charmingly unhelpful as he tries to sneak tastes of mashed potatoes while Taylor Hayes arranges flowers on the table. Kelly and little Hayes are laughing in the living room, their joy echoing through the house like a reminder that innocence still exists somewhere amid all the adult turmoil. Steffi pauses for a moment, taking it all in. She should feel happy, grateful, even, but gratitude comes with guilt. The Luna Nozawa ordeal still lingers in her mind like smoke after a fire. Luna's death had been ruled accidental, but Steffi couldn't help feeling that fate had intervened to cleanse the chaos that woman brought into their lives. She'd never admit it aloud, especially not in front of Finn, but a part of her was relieved. That relief, however, came with shame. Taylor sensed it in her daughter's silence. Mothers always do. The doorbell rings, breaking the fragile calm. When Steffi opens it, she's met with the last person she expected, Ridge Forrester, standing there with his trademark mix of charm and guilt. "I know I should have called," he says, his eyes scanning the scene inside. "But I thought maybe there's room for one more." For a moment, Steffi hesitates. Their relationship has weathered so many storms that even family gatherings feel like negotiations. But then she smiles and steps aside. "There's always room," she says, and suddenly the house feels fuller, more alive. Dinner unfolds like a well-rehearsed play, everyone taking turns expressing gratitude, everyone carefully avoiding the topics that might break the illusion of harmony. Steffi thanks fate for her family's safety. Finn echoes her words, his sincerity shining through even as he wonders if she's hiding something behind that polished smile. Taylor speaks of healing, of learning to let go of resentment. And Ridge, ever the patriarch, expresses gratitude for the resilience of family, the kind that bends but never breaks. Yet, as the meal progresses, subtle undercurrents begin to ripple beneath the surface. Ridge's presence brings back memories, some sweet, some painful. Taylor tries to hide her lingering affection, but her glances betray her. Finn senses the tension and focuses on the children, while Steffi fights to maintain composure, pretending not to notice how her parents' unresolved history hums just below the laughter. As they move to dessert, a knock at the door interrupts once again. This time it's not a guest, it's a messenger delivering a call from the hospital. Finn excuses himself, his tone calm, but his eyes wary. Steffi's chest tightens. Holidays in their family rarely end without a crisis. When Finn returns, the look on his face silences the room. "It's about Luna," he says quietly. "There's been a development." Taylor stiffens. Steffi's spoon clatters against her plate. The air in the room changes instantly. They learn that Luna's body was never properly identified. The autopsy reports are inconclusive, and a witness claims to have seen someone matching her description near the coastline days after the supposed accident. The relief Steffi once felt turns to dread. If Luna is alive, everything she thought was buried will rise again. And this time, the reckoning could destroy not just her peace, but her marriage. Back at Il Giardino, as the guests prepare to leave, Sheila's phone buzzes. She glances down, her smile fading as she reads the message. She's alive. She doesn't say who sent it, but her pulse quickens. Deacon notices her change in demeanor, but before he can ask, she masks it with a smirk. "Just business," she says, her tone too casual. But as she clears the table, her mind races. If the message means what she thinks it does, Thanksgiving has just become the calm before the storm. By the end of the night, both tables, the Forresters and Deacons, stand as reflections of one another. Families gathered, secrets simmered, and peace lingered only as long as denial allowed. In the glittering world of the bold and the beautiful, even gratitude carries a price. And as the episode closes with the faint sound of the ocean and the city's distant hum, one truth remains clear. The past never stays buried for long, and the next chapter will turn joy into chaos once again. The world of the bold and the beautiful has always thrived on scandal, but nothing could have prepared Forrester Creations for the storm that followed the death of Luna Nozawa. Once an ambitious intern who dreamed of climbing the ranks of the legendary fashion empire, Luna's name had now become synonymous with tragedy and disgrace. The headlines flashing across every news outlet told a story far more sensational than any runway debut. Former Forrester intern dies after daring prison escape. It was a headline that didn't just destroy reputations. It reopened wounds, dredged up secrets, and forced the Forresters to confront their own complicity in the culture that had created her. Beneath the polished glass walls of their Beverly Hills offices, chaos brewed quietly. The brand that had built its identity on elegance and integrity now stood on the edge of a moral collapse. The morning the story broke, Carter Walton was the first to read the reports. Sitting behind his desk, he felt the room tilt slightly as he processed the words. Luna Nozawa, dead at 25, struck by a car on a rain-slick highway after weeks on the run. To the public, she was a fugitive. To Carter, she was a reminder of a time when the company had blurred ethical lines in the name of ambition. He had interviewed her once, years ago, when she was still a bright-eyed intern eager to make her mark. He remembered her trembling hands, her nervous smile, and the way she had looked at the Forrester name as if it were a golden ticket. She had been young, brilliant, and deeply insecure, qualities that the fashion world devours. Now she was gone, and the internet had turned her story into a spectacle. Social media overflowed with conspiracy theories, sensationalized timelines, and cruel commentary dissecting every detail of her downfall. There were whispers that she had been involved with multiple men inside the company, that her obsession with finding her biological father had pushed her into madness, and that Forrester Creations had knowingly turned a blind eye to her unraveling. The PR department, normally swift and composed, was leaderless. Katie Logan, the one person who could manage this kind of crisis, was on vacation with her family. That left Carter alone to face the storm. He tried to call Ridge, but Ridge was already deep in conversation with Brooke and Donna at Eric's estate. By the time Carter joined them, the news had spread far beyond fashion blogs. Major networks were running retrospectives on Luna's life, how the once promising design assistant had spiraled into criminal behavior. Her mugshot appeared on the screen, her expression cold and defiant. Beneath it, the caption read, "From runway to ruin, the fall of a Forrester protege." Brooke turned off the television, her face pale. "This isn't just gossip," she said. "They're tying her name to ours. People think we nurtured her, protected her." Ridge paced by the window, frustration etched across his features. "We can't control what the press says, but we can control how we respond." His voice was steady, but his hands betrayed the tension building inside him. Eric, frail but still commanding, sat quietly, his gaze distant. "Every empire faces scandal," he murmured. "But this feels different. It feels personal." Indeed, it was personal. Luna had worked in their halls, breathed their air, absorbed their ambitions. And in some way, Forrester Creations had shaped her descent. The culture of obsession, beauty, legacy, and perfection had created the pressure that broke her. The same people now trying to distance themselves from her name had once praised her creativity and drive. Carter tried to steady himself. "We need to act fast. Katie's out, but we can't wait. I'll hire a crisis management firm, someone who can handle the PR damage." Ridge nodded, reluctantly agreeing.
"Do it."
"Find the best." That's how Robin Myers entered the picture, a sharp, unflappable strategist known for cleaning up Hollywood's dirtiest scandals. Within hours, she arrived at Forrester Creations, heels clicking like gunfire against the marble floors. Her presence was both reassuring and intimidating. "You don't need sympathy," she said after glancing at the assembled team. "You need control. The narrative's running away from you, and if we don't redirect it, you'll all go down with it." Robin wasted no time dissecting the situation. The internet wasn't just mourning Luna, it was romanticizing her. A martyr of the industry, some called her. Others blamed Forrester for exploiting her talent and discarding her when she became inconvenient. "You're not just facing bad press," Robin warned. "You're facing cultural backlash. People love to tear down icons." As the meeting stretched into the night, Carter couldn't shake the feeling that they were missing something. Luna's story didn't add up. Yes, she'd committed crimes, fraud, identity manipulation, even rumored violence, but there was always more to her motives. She wasn't evil. She was lost. And the company's silence in her final months had made her isolation worse. Now, her ghost hung over them all, demanding acknowledgement. Meanwhile, outside the walls of Forrester Creations, the story had taken on a life of its own. Fans of the fashion house flooded online forums with speculation. Some claimed Luna's death was staged, that she had faked her demise to escape justice. Others circulated grainy photos allegedly showing her alive in Mexico. Hashtags like Justice for Luna and Forrester Scandal trended worldwide. The company's image was crumbling faster than Robin's team could rebuild it. Katie, still unaware of the full chaos, was lounging with her son by the ocean when she received Carter's message. Reading his words, her heart sank. "Luna's dead. It's bad. They've tied us to her crimes." She closed her eyes, her vacation instantly poisoned. Forrester Creations was supposed to be unbreakable, but she knew too well how quickly reputations could rot from within. She texted back, "I'm on the next flight home." While the PR team scrambled, the Forresters themselves faced private reckonings. Brooke, ever the face of the brand, worried about the moral stain this brought to their legacy. "We've survived affairs, betrayals, scandals," she told Ridge that evening. "But this feels different. People are questioning what we stand for." Ridge, exhausted, rubbed his temples. "Maybe because they should." His voice cracked slightly. "We built this world that chews people up. Luna just happened to choke first." In the shadows of their success, Luna had been both victim and villain. Her mother, Poppy, had begged her not to get involved with the Forresters, warning her that their glamour came at a cost. But Luna hadn't listened. She'd fallen for RJ, then entangled herself with Will Spencer, blurring lines between romance and ambition. When her secrets began to unravel, she made one desperate choice after another until there was no way out. Her fall was a reflection of the system she had tried to conquer, a system designed to adore youth, then punish it for being fragile. Carter couldn't stop thinking about her final moments. The image of her stepping into the path of that car haunted him. He imagined her running, heart pounding, the city lights flickering around her. Did she want to die, or was she just too tired to keep running? The official report said it was an accident. The internet said it was fate. But Carter suspected something darker, something orchestrated. There were too many loose threads, too many convenient silences. Robin, sensing his unease, warned him to stay focused. Don't go chasing ghosts, she said. The public doesn't care about truth. They care about story. And right now, Luna's story is destroying yours. But Carter couldn't help himself. The guilt gnawed at him. He had seen her potential, and he had done nothing when she spiraled. Forrester Creations had dismissed her as a liability instead of seeing her as a person in pain. Days later, Katie returned, storming into the office with the composure of a woman ready for war. She listened as Carter debriefed her, then turned to Robin. "Thank you for stepping in," she said curtly. "But from here, I'll take the lead." Robin raised an eyebrow. "You're good," she said, "but this isn't just a press cleanup. It's a reckoning." Katie nodded. "Then let's reckon." Her first move was bold. She proposed a public acknowledgement of Luna's time at Forrester. "If we pretend she never existed, we look guilty," Katie explained during a board meeting. "If we recognize her contribution and express empathy for her struggles, we reclaim the narrative." It was risky, but it worked. Within hours, the company issued a statement mourning Luna's passing, highlighting her creativity and potential while condemning the misinformation surrounding her alleged crimes. The tone was delicate, human, not defensive. The backlash softened. Public opinion began to shift. Instead of seeing Forrester as the villain, people began to question the cruelty of the media cycle that had driven Luna to desperation. But even as the storm calmed, Carter knew they weren't free. Too many people had known too much. Someone within their circle had leaked internal details about Luna's employment, feeding the media frenzy. The question wasn't if there was a mole, it was who. In the weeks that followed, Forrester Creations slowly regained its footing. The spring collection launch went on as planned, though the atmosphere backstage was somber. Models whispered about Luna as they prepared, her name becoming both a warning and a myth. "She wanted too much," one said. "She just didn't know when to stop." Steffi overheard and felt a chill. Ambition was in their bloodline. How long before another Luna emerged from their ranks? The final twist came quietly. Late one evening, as Carter left the office, he received an anonymous envelope. Inside was a USB drive labeled simply Luna. Against his better judgment, he plugged it into his laptop. The files contained voice memos, Luna's own recordings, dated weeks before her death. In one, her voice trembled. "They're following me. They don't want me to tell the truth. I thought Forrester was my dream, but it's my curse." Carter sat frozen. It wasn't guilt anymore. It was fear. Luna's story wasn't over. Her death might not have been an accident after all. And if the wrong people learned what she knew, Forrester Creations might not survive the next scandal. As he stared at the screen, the reflection of his face mingled with hers, the living and the dead, bound by secrets that no press statement could erase. Outside, Los Angeles glittered as if nothing had happened. But within the heart of its most glamorous empire, the legacy of Luna Nozawa had just begun to haunt them all. Because in the bold and the beautiful, beauty is never innocent, and every secret eventually demands its price.